We're back again.
So wait, how do we start this? Do we need to have like a "What's up, gamers" kind of?
Well, I imagine in future we will have a full-on title theme, at least 42 seconds long, sound effects, original music,
animation,
a laser light show,
a fog machine.
That's right.
But for right now,
welcome back to the So I'm in a Podcast. So what?
Is that?
Well, we discussed this last week. The title is we stick either book club or podcast into what we read. We've also called ourselves the Light Novel Book Club.
I believe that's
as well as the In Another World with My Book Club.
We're a fluid named podcast.
Fluid, yes.
It's whatever we feel like.
We are a name fluid podcast.
Very much so.
That's what that term means. Well, I am the Onion Man of Greece. I am here with Patrick, also known as the Homesick Snail.
This week we're not talking about snails, we're talking about spiders.
We're talking about spiders.
So, this week we're discussing So I'm a Spider, So What by Okina Baba, illustrated by Tsukasa Kiryu.
Uh-huh.
This was your pick this week?
This was my pick this week.
Do you want to introduce it?
Yeah, so it's two stories. The primary story is that our unnamed protagonist was sitting in her high school class. She gets isekai'd under mysterious circumstances.
As you do.
Actually, I guess it's not even mysterious circumstances. It's literally the first two lines of the novel.
Isn't it like...
once there was a world where the battle between the hero and the demon lord repeated itself time and time again. During this battle, an enormous space-time spell was fired and exploded in a certain classroom in a Japanese high school.
Basically, they got nuked into an isekai.
The next line, the spell hit everyone in the classroom, and all of them lost their lives in an instant. The souls of these victims were scattered into another world, and each was born again in a new life.
Now, I gotta say, that is... one of the things I liked about this was that it's group isekai.
Yeah, we're having isekai.
It's not just the main character getting isekai.
Gotta catch them all. We gotta reassemble the high school class.
I was thinking the same thing. You gotta catch all the new...
Gotta catch them all. So our main protagonist, who is not actually ever named at any point in this book. No. After I finished it, I reread it a second time trying to figure out what the character's name was.
Do they ever get a name? Just curious. Because I know you've already read...
That there's a yes and a no to answer that.
Okay, then don't
question.
Don't even say anything.
So before we even get into the summary, my favorite thing about this novel, and I've read ahead into the rest of the series, is the mystery of the whole thing. Anyway, so our main protagonist gets reincarnated as a level 1 small spider. Small spiders in this world being 3 feet large.
Of course.
Which is quite small because...
Yeah, but that's still
when she immediately hatches out of her egg, she's born into a massacre of her several hundred siblings. And her skyscraper-sized mother just devouring right and left. So she flees the scene.
A bit of a tone setter there, I would say.
Yep. Eventually it's unraveled that she finds herself in the upper floor of the largest dungeon in this fantasy world. And needs to just sort of try to survive as best she can, which she does reasonably well.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean...
she survived. She is not thriving.
No.
Things are not going well for Spider.
Things go okay. I think in this world, things could go a lot worse as a spider.
Yes.
One of the things I gotta say, though, is that I'm not sold on the RPG elements they put into this.
They're a bit...
It's a bit much. The first, at least half, I'm like, this is really just... that time I was reincarnated as a spider.
Yeah, really.
It is really giving me vibes of the time I was reincarnated as a slime.
Yeah, well, slime, things are going well for him. He's making friends. He's leveling up.
But I'm saying, the RPG elements that just keep getting skills, stuff like that. I'm gotta say, I wasn't a huge fan of that in this book. It was a bit much.
Eventually we get into these multi-page explanations of, how do we develop our character to be overpowered.
Yeah. And some of the mystery of I got this skill, I don't know what it does, and then that comes back a little later. I'm like, okay, that's kind of good. That's a good way to use that.
So what I enjoyed about this book is that pretty much every fantasy novel ever, it's the hero's journey. The hero journey is a storytelling device that most writers use to write good stories about a character. It's the monomyth. And the third step in all those stories is always meet the mentor.
Yep.
Who explain what's going on, what the character's goal should be, explains the world. What's happening with the spider is she is having her monomyth hero's journey without the mentor.
Yep.
And so that's
the only thing she has is the divine voice, which barely tells her anything.
Right. No, it's the same thing as she does have a voice in her head telling her when she levels up, but it doesn't explain anything about what the stat growth means, what any of the new skills are. So it's very much an RPG.
There's one line that really got me that I really liked when she is analyzing her taboo skill later on, and it says, just do not level up this skill. I'm like, okay.
No, just don't level this. So the second thing that's happening, because there's two stories happening parallel side by side, is we have the two gamers, both guys.
Gamers?
Yeah, they also get reincarnated. Both end up the children of very powerful noblemen in a dominant country.
Well, one of them is a prince.
One of them is a prince. The other one is the daughter of a duke.
Yeah.
What does that make you, a tiny duchess?
I think it's just a duchess.
Yeah.
Or a duchess to be.
Yeah, I don't know what the heir to a dukedom is.
Not super up on my medieval royalty lines.
Which that was quite the giggle that
they turned into a
because the two are just massive neckbeards. They're on 4chan. That they both have Pepe folders on their hard drives, and one of them is super feminine, very petite, waif of a beautiful girl. Which is hilarious.
So I gotta say, between these two stories, I vastly preferred the one about the other characters.
Oh, the prince.
I loved it. I'm like, every time that story came up, I'm like, I'm in. I'm so interested in this.
Well, I'm glad that you like it, because it keeps going, and they start intertwining really well.
That's what I was hoping for. See, now that you've said that, I'm more excited to read.
But I'm the exact opposite. I love reading the spider so much more.
You know what? When I was reading, I'm like, I bet Brandon likes the spider part.
I love the spider part. And so let me tell you, one of the things I like the most about the spider part is how strangely it's written. So the actual sentence structure, page layout, way that things are spaced is very unusual. The whole spider section is written from the first person. It's written as a stream of conscious. There's no descriptions of the environment other than just, the thoughts that the character's having, like, that's a wall. They're not talking about the dim lighting, the dank atmosphere, the smell.
Yeah.
It's just everything.
Can spiders smell?
Very much so. They're very good at it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. But no, so I quite like that. And the other thing is that none of these stream of sentence thoughts are more than 1 to 2 sentences long, which tells us that our character is, above all else, a massive spaz.
Yeah.
She can't concentrate. She's jumping around from idea to idea constantly.
It did give me a feeling later on when she was like in a life or death situation that it was a little harder for her to concentrate on, okay, I really need to focus here right now.
Yeah, no. So I love just this amazing characterization we're getting of our protagonist, just literally from the way that the words are laid out on this page. Short attention span, constantly jumping from idea to idea. I've never seen this before, and I quite like it. And then when we switch back to the normal hero protagonist, we retain traditional paragraph sentence layout.
The thing is, though, it's still in first person.
Right.
Which confused me, because we start with the spider, and then we go back. This might have been because I would miss something. I was reading this at work, so I kind of had to pay attention to my workstation. But I think I missed a part because I was like, "Wait, who is this character we're talking about now?"
So the only reason I know that this is what the author's done is because I've read the author's notes in a later novel. Spider chapters are just a number. Hero chapters are S number, so side.
I figured that out later, but the first time we switched over to who is now the prince, I thought it was Spider. I'm like, wait, what's going on? I'm really confused. Then later, though, I did figure out, okay, Spider was that weird girl in the front of the class that no one talked to.
Okay, so you got that far.
I figured that out. That was not too.
Gotcha. Well, let me ask this other question: did we get any? Because I remember when we cut off in the spider story, and I remember where we cut off in the prince's story. Did we get any other character perspectives in volume 1?
I don't think so, and if we did, it was for like a second.
It would have been for probably about 5 pages.
Maybe
if I say the words Demon Lord, does that mean anything to you?
I don't think we...
Okay, so we haven't gotten that far yet.
I don't think so. But, yeah, the Prince story, I really liked later in the book, with when his brother showed up, Julius, and he has that scene with his father.
Yeah,
just like it's really like...
We're gonna drink. So I guess we should sort of sum up what the Prince is going on. We just said that, the one's the Prince, the other one. So it's the two gamers get reincarnated, both become princes.
Well, a prince and a duchess.
Royals. They both become nobility. And they go to school to learn how to be, noble adventurers, because that's what you do in this world, because it's...
Everyone adventures, apparently.
Because it's hella dangerous, because humans are actively in a race war with the demons at all times. It never ends. So that's what they're off to. And, they very quickly begin to stumble upon the rest of their class.
Yeah, the teacher at one point shows up as a little elf, I think.
Yep, she's an elf.
And says, I look at my classroom decks. Look at how many I've caught already.
That's right. 4 of them are dead.
Unfortunately.
We found some other ones, though. Don't worry, they're all safe at the elf village. You guys just do you.
You guys do you right now.
Yeah.
But backing up a little. In this world, the whole thing is skill-based.
Right.
Like, there are a shitload of skills that anyone can acquire if you do the right things.
Yeah. So like if you get really good at spotting things with your eyes, you get an observation skill. And that just means that, hey, you're good at seeing things with your eyes better. Or if you get really good at, biting somebody with your poisonous fangs, guess what? You get Poison Fang level 2. So there's 3 levels of growth. There's your overall level, there's your stats, and then there's the skills. And the level is just, you can only get experience by killing things.
Yeah, which I think is interesting.
Right. It's a setting that only cares about combat. Stats, which is grown by, physically doing things, like if you want your strength to go up.
You should exercise, basically.
You gotta exercise. And then skills are just, the ability to do basic things. Then there's also titles, which...
That I think is also pretty cool.
Yeah.
But so, the titles is like... If you do something very specific,
right,
you get a title, and you get like a couple extra skills, for free with that title.
So the first achievement we get, for example, is Kinslayer.
I think it was Kin Eater.
Kin Eater. When our protagonist, the spider, eats a fellow spider, because girl be hungry. The game goes, congratulations, you ate one of your siblings. Have poison and rot resistance skills.
No, that was later. With Kin Eater, I remember she got heretical magic and taboo level 1, and she's just like, excuse me?
What did I do? I didn't realize this was my sibling.
But she really like played it off like, that's what you gotta do. She seems like she adjusted pretty well, pretty quickly to A, being a spider, and B, in this new world where everything is going to try to kill you.
Yeah. So something I really like about this book is that it is action-packed. There are constantly fights happening, and they're interesting fights.
There are a lot of fight scenes. That was one of my problems, though.
What's that?
Little tiny problems. I didn't like the fight scenes as much. I didn't find them as interesting. Like some of the descriptions of where she's going, like with the bee fight or the monkey fight.
Oh, I love those two the most.
The monkey one was pretty okay, but the bee one I thought was a little dry. There was a lot of sitting around, which makes sense.
Yeah, it's
for her to do that.
She's trying to. So the situation. She's in the bottom of a pit, and she wants to get to the top of it, because there's a dragon down there sometimes.
Now, the dragon I did like.
Yeah, no, it's just, here is something you cannot cope with.
That's what it's like. You literally do not try, you can't beat this.
No, there is, you stand 0 chance. So the solution is, okay, let me make a giant spider's nest, several stories tall, a tower of web that I can use to climb out of the pit without this giant swarm of wasps attacking.
Like, when we say giant, we mean, what do they say, like 6 feet
long? 6
long?
foot. Yeah, 6 foot wasps. Don't worry, there's only a couple hundred of them.
Shit.
And these are Japanese wasps, so they spit acid as well.
Of course. I mean, what else would they do?
Right. No, so I like how, it's a slow fight, but I like how slow it is because, she's legitimately trying to survive this.
Yeah, and like I said, it definitely makes sense it's a slower fight, because you can't fight 100, 200 giant wasps at the same time.
As a little 3-foot spider. Although at that point, is she still a small pterosaur? So that's something else that's discovered, is that as the monsters level up, they evolve. And our protagonist decided to go small and lethal more so than turning big like Mom.
Which I think can open up a lot of more interesting fights where she's like stalking whatever she's trying to fight instead of just all out brawling. I think that sounds a lot more interesting to me.
Yeah, so if you had to describe a few words to describe our protagonist Patty, what descriptions would you use? Spider. That's a good one.
I mean, you summed it up really good earlier. Like they seem like they're very not very good at concentrating on what's going all over the place.
Do you think that this person would be well adjusted in normal society?
Well, considering
what
she said about herself, no, because she describes how she basically just played games all the time. Her parents were never home.
Right.
So one of the weird things that I think really does give a lot of characterizations that I noticed was she has to eat all these disgusting monsters.
Right.
She has to eat all these poisonous things that she says that she sucks. But what does she want to eat? Ramen. Just top ramen.
I need to have
not
cup
something
ramen.
Like delicious or like a delicacy. No, just ramen.
Hey, we do try to get at one delicacy in the course of this story. We happen to stumble upon an egg, and lo and behold, let's spend 4 chapters doing everything in our power to try to break this egg open, so we don't have to eat more of our siblings.
And then that doesn't work.
No, that doesn't work.
Which is funny. And then the egg comes back, which is starting the entwining process of these two stories.
Right.
In that the egg is given to the prince as a pet, which it turns out to be an earth dragon.
Yeah.
Who also turns out to be a reincarnation of another classmate. Which I think that was pretty obvious when it started nuzzling up to him a lot.
Well, I don't know. We don't know what the Earth Dragons do in this setting. If I think a classic JRPG tropes, I jump back to Final Fantasy, where you hatch a dragon, that's yours. He's just here now.
It's
part of your life.
It just imprints on you.
It was really strange actually reading this because I am, as I mentioned in the last podcast, actively reading through the Inheritance cycle again, which is all about a human bonding with a dragon and becoming a dragon rider. And I got to this and it was just, oh wow, I'm just reading the same.
It's happening again.
Oh, but they're both, well I guess, oh no, they're just both.
They're both isekai.
Yeah.
But in the prince side of the story, I do like how him and the Duchess now are just hanging out, broing it up, and then their parents they're thinking dude, our parents are just gonna try to marry us.
Yeah, they're just gonna. Do we bang?
Do we have to?
Do we just have kids? We like each other. We have the biology at this point. There was the one time we did that thing which we swore we would never speak about after school in the woods. We could just do that for real now and just have it be, okay. That was my headcanon reading those sections.
I'm excited to read more about those two. Like I said, that was what I preferred, was the prince side of the story. Like I said, I had little problems with the spider side, but not enough to,
to turn you off?
No, it's just really little things that I was just I'm not as excited to... Oh, Prince story, yeah, I'm going to keep reading that.
Well, you'll be happy to know that the Prince gets a lot more action.
Awesome.
No, I won't say it.
No, don't say it.
I won't say it.
And then I liked all the characters in the Prince story. I liked his brother Julius.
Yeah.
I thought the king was just going to be, a giant asshole.
No.
And then he's just I don't know if I'm a good dad. And I'm oh!
I have emotional problems and I don't know how to connect with my children until they're adults.
This is real. This is actually really real all of a sudden.
What am I supposed to do? So, do we run into any other... you have to remind me who we've met so far in one. Have we run into any other classmates?
Other than the teacher, no.
Okay.
You have the prince, the duchess, the dragon, the teacher.
Okay.
And, of course, spider.
Gotcha.
They're the only ones we've run into so far.
So, have we gone to school yet, or are we going to school at this point?
No school yet.
No school yet, okay. Then
Big spoiler. There's a high school.
Who
would have thought?
There will at some point in this Japanese light novel be a school.
Oh, no. You might as well just tell me how it ends at this point.
Okay, well, they find the Holy Grail, and turns out Nicolas Cage was this close to beating them to it. So, Patty, the art. Do you like the art in this book?
Okay. So, cover art, great. I think it's amazing.
Beautiful.
Great use of colors, like the greens all around here framing it, and then the reds, like, really help it stand out. Inside art.
There's not a lot of art in the inside.
There is actually, I think there's a good amount, especially with the monster stats.
Right.
All of the monsters, I think, look great.
Yeah, no.
The art is very sketchy, very loosely drawn, I would say. I don't like how they drew the humans as much. It's not as clean, which is fine. It's just looked a little rushed. Where's the one page I'm thinking of? Yeah, right here.
Okay, so we're looking at main Prince Son getting appraised for the first time.
Like, there's a lot of negative space around
and
here.
his little sister.
Is that his little sister?
Well, actually, no. I guess that's the Duchess's daughter, Katerina. That must be the little sister over there in the corner. You have to draw big arrows to point at them.
I guess I actually have to edit this video. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, this part's okay. It's just...
Here, while you're editing it, you can just go ahead and color in that whole page.
I'm not doing that.
What are you talking about?
Fucking hours. But like I said, the sketchiness of the art I think is good. It's just not the greatest. Like, it's not bad.
Right.
Definitely. And like I said, monsters look great. Which,
beautiful.
This is mostly a monster story.
It's a monster book, so.
A lot of the monster designs are, so far, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Like the weird monkeys with the crocodile mounts. Yeah. Excuse me? No, thank you.
You kill one of their tribe and they must all swear eternal vengeance on you.
Yeah.
Climax of this book is just fantastic. Go read it. She gets in a fight with about 10 bajillion Donkey Kongs.
And they are all pissed.
They are just pissed. If one of us can get you, it's worth sacrificing everybody else.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy.
So, Patty, where do you think this, because light novels, the eventual goal is that we're going to go infinite and just continuously write more of the story.
And once again, I looked up the origin of this. This is originally a web novel. Very surprising. About 300 chapters.
Right. From reading author's notes from the later novels, they do mention that, like, when they write the actual novels of it, they add a shit ton to the story.
That's
the point where the guy is like, hey, so thank you for reading volume 6 of my light novel. This was not in the web novel at all. This is all completely original.
Oh, okay.
And I really wish I could go back and rewrite other stuff to include things I came up with here.
That's kind of funny. But yeah, I know a lot of authors, because when they're writing a web novel, it's usually just them who's writing it.
Right.
With a light novel, you have the publishers there. The editor is like, don't do this, do this, blah, blah, blah. Like, they have people around them to help them with the process. But, going back to your question.
But yeah, no, so how do you think this story is going to progress from here?
Well, obviously, you've told me the two tales are eventually going to intertwine.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking Spider might become, like, a villain to the prince, like or a rival or something like that.
Right.
It could be, although I would also totally be down with all the classmates come together and try to stop the Demon Lord.
Start the big bad evil guy?
I think that would also be pretty cool.
Gotcha.
But that would be, I would say that's the two forks in the road we have right now.
If you had to guess, how do you think that these characters are eventually, how do you think the intertwining is actually going to occur?
Not really thinking too hard about it guess is that Prince goes into the dungeon. And finds Spider.
I thought it was going to be Prince goes into dungeon too.
Well, I guess I'll have to find out what actually happens now, won't I?
It could be Prince goes into dungeon. I'm just saying that I didn't mean to imply that it was something different than that.
But you thought it was the...
I thought it was, okay, at what point are we going to go and decide to fight the easy monsters in the first level
And then it turns out to be the spider.
Big spider. Patty, what do you think of this novel?
You know what? Even though, like I said, I had some hang-ups about it, I'm still going to recommend.
Still going to recommend? I highly recommend this.
Yeah, I was about to say, you read, like, the whole series in, like, a couple days.
I liked it so much that I bought book 1 and was reading it. Halfway through book 1, I ordered 2 and 3. When I finished 3, I had not yet ordered 4, 5, and 6, so I went ahead and did that, but they weren't going to be arriving for another 3 days, so I just also bought the Kindle versions, because I just wanted to keep reading it. Unfortunately, now I'm out
Yeah. Now you've hit the wall.
I've hit the wall.
The unfortunate wall.
That's okay, because the story sort of... 6 is a good point where the wall can be, I feel.
Really? Okay. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so yeah, recommended from both of us?
Highly recommended both.
Pretty good.
Yeah, go read it.
Well, since you have no more Spider to read...
I do not.
We have next week's book, and we're taking a break from fucking isekais, because I don't think we want to do isekais.
Look, Patty, I gotta warn you. I've been looking at top light novel lists. Most of them are isekais. Do we want to bring in a non-isekai this early? Because otherwise we're going to have to do like 12 isekais in a row.
I think that's going to happen anyway.
All right. So what
most
do we got?
of them are going to be isekais.
Okay.
You can't get into this and not think we're going to read mostly isekais. But my pick for next week, where you're going to read the first omnibus, which is technically the first 3 books, but it's only still 300 pages, of Katana Gatari by Nisio Isin. Nisio Isin is probably my favorite author of all time.
Okay.
Period.
I noticed the Monogatari at the end.
This
is this from the same creator?
It is the same creator. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the Monogatari series.
Gotcha.
He just decided to name it the same way. I think this actually came out before Monogatari.
Yeah, but
yes.
Well, Tari just means story, right?
Yeah.
So this is
literally translated, it's sword tale or sword story.
Okay.
It is a story about swords. I am almost done with the first omnibus here. One of the good things about this series, though, is that it's actually finished.
Oh, well, cheers.
So,
we'll hit a wall at some point.
But, so yeah, next week, Katana Gatari Nisio Isen. Look forward to it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching.